Everyone, Quay, we've all seen a bad gift, but these are in a different league.
Love makes people do stupid things, but Valentine's Day turns stupid into an Olympic sport. 1. The DIY coffin of love. Some people give flowers, others chocolates. But one man in Texas decided to give his girlfriend a coffin, a real, full-sized mahogany coffin. His logic? Because I'd die without you. Romantic? Maybe in a goth Tim Burton way. Unfortunately, she wasn't goth. She worked in HR. He delivered it to her driveway with a giant red bow and a note that read, "My heart rests here." Her neighbors thought it was a prank until the local news showed up to ask questions. The girlfriend broke up with him 2 days later, citing creative differences between romance and horror. The coffin remained in her garage for months because, as she told reporters, you can't exactly donate that to Goodwill. Nothing says "I love you forever" like giving your partner something they could literally be buried in. 2. The personalized toilet seat. In 2014, a Florida man thought he'd cracked the code to practical romance. His girlfriend had complained that he never listened. So, for Valentine's Day, he custom-ordered a toilet seat engraved with both their names inside a heart. He said it symbolized sharing everything. She said it symbolized everything wrong with him. When she opened the gift, he proudly explained that now, every time she sat down, she'd think of their love. She did, while using it to smash his PlayStation. The story went viral on Reddit after he posted, "Why is my girlfriend mad? It was a nice seat." Gentlemen, if your romantic gift can also be installed by a plumber, you've missed the point. 3. The live tarantula. One woman in Arizona decided that her boyfriend, an admitted arachnophobe, needed to face his fears together. So she bought him a live tarantula for Valentine's Day, complete with a pink ribbon around the tank. She told friends it was symbolic of the web of love. He screamed, ran out of the room, and didn't come back for 3 days. The relationship ended shortly after the spider escaped its enclosure and spent a week living under their couch like a tiny 8-legged third wheel. When the landlord finally found it, he asked if it was a prank. She said, "No, it was supposed to be romantic." He just nodded and said, "You people need therapy." Love may be blind, but apparently, it's also not afraid of arachnids. 4. The vacuum of passion. They say love sucks, but this guy took it literally. A man in Ohio surprised his girlfriend with a brand new vacuum cleaner for Valentine's Day, proudly wrapped in pink paper with a bow. When she stared at him in disbelief, he explained it was the deluxe model, just like you deserve. He even attached a handwritten note, "For cleaning up our messes together." Romantic poetry at its worst. He didn't understand why she stormed out, claiming it was practical and an investment in our future. The only thing it actually cleaned up was their relationship, permanently. She later told her friends, "If he wanted me to think of him every time I vacuumed, mission accomplished. I'll curse his name every time I hear that thing turn on." Nothing says love like a household appliance that screams, "I think of you when I think of chores." 5. The gym membership surprise. There are bad gifts, and then there's accidentally calling your girlfriend fat bad. One guy thought he'd be thoughtful by gifting his girlfriend a gym membership for Valentine's Day. To make it worse, he included a note that said, "You'll thank me by summer." She did not. He even scheduled her first session for February 15th, the day after chocolate sales spike. When she confronted him, he doubled down, saying, "It's about health, not weight." She responded by gifting him a single dumbbell to the head. Metaphorically, I hope. The gym membership went unused and the relationship quickly expired, much like his contract's early termination fee. Lesson learned. If your Valentine's Day gift requires someone to sweat, run, or sign a waiver, it's probably not romantic. It's a cry for help. 6. The forever tattoo. Typo Nothing says commitment, like permanent ink, unless you spell your lover's name wrong. A man in Michigan wanted to surprise his girlfriend by tattooing her name across his chest. Her name was Brittany. His tattoo artist, perhaps too distracted by the romantic energy in the room, wrote Brittany with one T. The man proudly showed it off, ignoring her horrified expression. She corrected him, and he said, "It's unique, like our love." Within a month, she dumped him for someone who could spell. He later tried to fix it by adding a second T, which turned the name into Brittany. By the third session, the artist told him to just tattoo "oops" underneath and move on. Moral of the story: proofread before you bleed. Because nothing says eternal love like a spelling mistake you can't laser away. 7. The romantic onion bouquet. In an attempt to stand out, one man decided roses were too cliché, so he presented his girlfriend with a bouquet of onions. Yes, the tear-inducing kind, because they're layered, like our love. He even peeled one halfway to symbolize vulnerability. She didn't cry out of emotion. She cried because her entire apartment smelled like a sauté pan. When she posted a photo online, the internet crowned it the worst bouquet in history, right above someone who once gave lettuce. He defended himself in the comments, saying, "Flowers die, onions last." Ironically, so did her resentment. She eventually dumped him, saying, "If our love is like onions, then it definitely made me cry." It's a bold move, replacing romance with produce. But hey, at least she got something she could use for dinner after the breakup. 8. The stuffed roadkill Valentine. Nothing ruins a romantic evening like a corpse, especially one holding a heart. A self-proclaimed outdoorsman thought it would be adorable to gift his girlfriend a taxidermied raccoon dressed in a tuxedo and holding a plastic rose. He said it represented eternal love because it'll never die again. She said it represented an immediate breakup. The raccoon, which he'd apparently found on the side of the road and had professionally preserved, now sits in her mother's attic as a cautionary tale. He posted online afterward, lamenting that women just don't appreciate creativity. Creativity isn't the problem, champ. It's the fact that your romantic gesture looks like it belongs in a cursed antique shop. Nothing says, "You're my forever," quite like a dead woodland creature staring soullessly into eternity with fake romance in its paws. 9. The romantic parking ticket. Some people write love poems, others just write checks. A man in Los Angeles thought it'd be funny to propose to his girlfriend by placing the ring box under a fake parking ticket on her windshield. Except she didn't see the word "fake." She saw "violation notice" and immediately spiraled into a full-blown meltdown about unfair city fines. By the time he appeared with roses and said, "Surprise," she was on the phone with parking enforcement, demanding to speak to a supervisor. The proposal ended in screaming, tears, and one diamond ring hurled across a Trader Joe's parking lot. Later, she said, "If he wanted me to cry, mission accomplished." He claimed he was going for shock value. Well, he nailed it. Nothing says eternal love like accidentally triggering your partner's financial trauma with a prop ticket. 10. The frozen steak of love. One Valentine's Day, a man in Minnesota forgot to buy a gift. So, in a last-minute burst of genius, he wrapped a frozen ribeye steak in aluminum foil, drew a heart on it with Sharpie, and wrote, "You're my prime cut." When his girlfriend opened the freezer to find her present, she didn't laugh. She just sighed, microwaved it for dinner, and ate it alone. He posted online later saying, "At least she got a meal out of it." She replied in the comments, "Yeah, and indigestion." To his credit, it was the most useful gift of the night, edible if poorly executed. Still, it's the kind of gesture that makes you wonder if some men hear heartfelt and think meat storage. Love may be warm, but a frozen steak from the clearance bin will never thaw her heart. 11. The GPS tracker. Because I care. Nothing says romance like surveillance. A man in Nevada gave his girlfriend a keychain with a built-in GPS tracker, claiming it was for her safety. He told her it was so he could always make sure she got home safe, but conveniently left out the part where he'd been checking her location 15 times a day. When she realized it wasn't sweet, it was stalker-level creepy, she dumped him and mailed the tracker back with a sticky note that read, "Now you can track your mistakes." He defended himself, saying it was just technology helping love. No, buddy, it's technology helping a restraining order. If your Valentine's Day gift could double as an ankle monitor, maybe skip it. Romantic gestures should warm hearts, not trigger data privacy warnings. 12. The personalized song disaster. A man in Nashville decided to impress his girlfriend with a custom country love song written, recorded, and performed by himself. He wasn't a musician, just inspired. The song, titled "Girl, You're Like My Truck," reliable and kinda loud, featured lyrics about how she handles curves well and needs less gas than most. She was mortified when he played it over dinner in a restaurant full of people. By the second chorus, the waiter was pretending to clean tables just to escape the cringe. When it hit YouTube, even his friends begged him to take it down. She broke up with him the next day, telling him the song was unfortunately accurate, loud, clunky, and full of exhaust. Love songs are supposed to make people swoon, not want to hide under a tablecloth until the end of time. 13. They shared toothbrush. Some couples share everything: love, secrets, Netflix passwords. But one man in Kansas decided to push the boundaries of intimacy. His Valentine's gift? A custom-engraved toothbrush with both their initials on it and the phrase, "One brush, one love." He told her it would bring them closer together. She told him it would bring her closer to a dentist. When he insisted it was symbolic, she said, "So is hygiene," and immediately bought herself a new toothbrush and a new boyfriend. He later said he thought it was romantic and eco-friendly. Romantic? Number? Eco-friendly? Maybe? Hygienically catastrophic? Absolutely. The CDC would have fainted. If your Valentine's gift can also spread gingivitis, you might want to rethink your definition of sharing. 14. The Coupon Book of Regret. Ah, the homemade coupon book, the timeless last-minute gift of the forgetful. One boyfriend decided to make his own romantic coupon book, full of handwritten offers like one free hug and good for one back rub. Unfortunately, his lazy execution betrayed him. Half the coupons were misspelled, "I owe you a massage," and one literally said, "Redeem for emotional support. If I'm not busy." To make things worse, he recycled an old birthday card and forgot to cross out, "Happy 30th, Mom." When his girlfriend opened it, she just blinked and said, "You know what? I'm cashing in the free breakup coupon right now." Sometimes it's not the thought that counts. It's realizing there was never much thought to begin with. 15. The romantic life insurance policy. This one's dark, and not in the candlelight way. A man in Chicago gifted his girlfriend a life insurance policy with her name on it. At first, she thought it was a joke. It wasn't. He proudly explained that if anything ever happened to her, he'd be financially secure. She blinked and said, "Wait, you are the beneficiary." He nodded. She called her sister. He called his agent. The relationship ended faster than a premium payment. He tried to justify it by saying, "It means I can't live without you," literally. Romantic metaphor aside, she wisely decided not to stick around to find out how far that policy extended. When love starts sounding like a true crime podcast, it's time to cancel your subscription. 16. The romantic pet snake. You know your relationship's in trouble when the gift hisses. A guy in Georgia decided his girlfriend would love a pet snake for Valentine's Day because, as he put it, she's sleek and dangerous like one. She was neither impressed nor thrilled when he handed her a shoebox full of reptile rage. He even named it Snuggles. When the lid came off and Snuggles launched itself at the curtains, she ran out screaming and didn't come back until animal control arrived. The boyfriend tried to salvage the gesture by claiming it was symbolic of temptation, which somehow made it worse. The next day, she dropped him faster than a molting python. Lesson learned: if your romantic surprise involves fangs, venom, or live prey, it belongs in National Geographic, not a Valentine's card. 17. The DIY perfume disaster. A self-proclaimed creative boyfriend in Oregon decided store-bought perfume wasn't personal enough, so he made his own fragrance. Using rubbing alcohol, vanilla extract, and, God help us, bacon grease. He called it Eau de Ouse. When she sprayed it, the scent was so nauseating it triggered the smoke detector. His defense? "It smells like love and breakfast." She said it smelled like a Waffle House dumpster fire. The bottle leaked in her purse, permanently scenting everything she owned with eau de regret. He tried to pivot, claiming it was a gender-neutral fragrance for couples. She told him it was gender-neutral because no gender should smell like that. Nothing rekindles romance like spending Valentine's night scrubbing bacon oil out of your wallet. 18. The used candle collection. A man in Arizona wanted to be eco-friendly and thoughtful, so he gave his girlfriend a box of half-used candles. Not vintage, not antique, just candles he'd already burned halfway down. When she asked why, he said, they still have plenty of life left, like our relationship. If metaphors could cry for help, that one would have. She noticed some were clearly from old dates. One even had another woman's initials scratched off the glass. He shrugged and said, "Waste not, want not." She blew out both the candles and the relationship in one breath. Nothing ruins the mood faster than realizing your romantic gesture came from the clearance bin under his sink. The only thing recycled here was his poor judgment. 19. The surprise tattoo of her face. Some people get portraits of their partners tattooed. This guy in Pennsylvania decided to go big. He got his girlfriend's face tattooed on his stomach, except the artist only had one blurry photo for reference. The result looked less like his girlfriend and more like a haunted Cabbage Patch doll. When he proudly lifted his shirt to reveal it, she gasped, then laughed so hard she cried. He took offense, saying, "It's permanent." She said, "That's exactly the problem." When they broke up 3 weeks later, he tried to have it reworked into a lion, but the eyes were so uneven that the lion looked tipsy. Moral: before declaring eternal love through body art, make sure your artist isn't legally blind and your relationship isn't on a 30-day trial. The love contract. In an act of sheer delusion, a law student in Boston drafted a 10-page relationship agreement for Valentine's Day. It included clauses about weekly date frequency, acceptable flirting limits, and a breakup notice period of no less than 14 days. He even required both parties to initial next to the phrase "exclusive romantic partnership." She thought it was a joke until he asked her to sign it in front of witnesses. When she refused, he threatened to void the contract. She said, "Perfect. Consider it terminated." He later bragged online that he was just setting healthy boundaries. Translation: he turned romance into small claims court. Love isn't supposed to involve legal counsel, page numbers, or a notary stamp. If your Valentine's gift requires a signature, you've already lost the case. 21. The surprise proposal. Cake Fail Nothing says romance like sugar, unless you bake in a health hazard. A man in Kentucky decided to propose by hiding an engagement ring inside a red velvet cake he baked himself. Sweet idea, disastrous execution. His girlfriend didn't see the ring, she bit it. The good news, she didn't choke. The bad news, she chipped a tooth and screamed loud enough for the neighbors to call 911. The ring survived, but the moment didn't. When paramedics arrived, he tried to explain between apologies that it was supposed to be romantic. She said, "So was dentistry before you ruined it." He ended up paying for an engagement ring and emergency dental work. Love may be forever, but enamel is not. 22. The romantic gift card swap. A man in Illinois believed gift cards were the modern love letter. He proudly handed his girlfriend a $100 Sephora gift card, only for her to find out it was actually a $5 Subway card taped to a Sephora sleeve. He admitted he'd recycled the packaging from his ex, claiming it was environmentally friendly. She said it was emotionally bankrupt. To make matters worse, he had written, "Treat yourself beautiful" on the back, right over where the card clearly said valid for sandwiches only. She posted it online, and the internet dubbed it the footlong of shame. When asked what he learned, he said, "Next year I'll double-check the card." She replied, "Next year you'll be shopping alone." Sometimes romance doesn't die. It just expires at checkout. 23. The DIY chocolate catastrophe. One man thought buying chocolates was too mainstream, so he decided to make them himself. Using YouTube tutorials and zero culinary skill, he melted 5 candy bars, mixed them with a splash of love, which turned out to be barbecue sauce, and poured them into heart molds. He proudly gifted them to his girlfriend, who bit into one and immediately ran to the sink. When she asked what was in them, he cheerfully listed, "Sugar, chocolate, a hint of smoke flavor." She broke up with him before the chocolate even cooled. He tried to defend himself by saying, "At least it was original." It was originally garbage. The moral: if your Valentine's treat doubles as a prank, you're not being romantic. You're being a cautionary tale for future bakers. 24. The singing telegram that never left. Some gestures start cute and end in horror. A man in Portland hired a singing telegram dressed as Cupid to surprise his girlfriend at work. The plan: one song, one kiss, and gone. The reality? The performer misread the instructions and stayed for 3 hours, following her around the office, serenading her during meetings, and even joining her Zoom calls. Co-workers filmed the chaos as the man in a diaper sang Endless Love while holding a ukulele and blocking the copier. By the time her boyfriend arrived, she'd already locked herself in the break room. When he tried to apologize, she just said, "Next time, send flowers. Or, better yet, send nothing." Sometimes romance is about grand gestures, and sometimes it's about knowing when to end the song. 25. The heart-shaped pizza proposal. A delivery driver in New Jersey will never forget the night he witnessed the dumbest proposal in history. A guy ordered a heart-shaped pizza and hid a diamond ring under the cheese. The plan was to surprise his girlfriend over dinner. Instead, she bit into the ring and nearly cracked a molar. When she screamed, he yelled, "Surprise!" while she was spitting out mozzarella and jewelry like a slot machine gone wrong. She didn't say yes. She said, "You're paying for the dentist." He claimed he was trying to make it cheesy in a cute way. She replied, "You nailed the cheesy part." The story went viral under the headline "Love Hurts," and so does pizza. Sometimes less is more, especially when it comes to topping your food with gemstones. 26. The Valentine's Graveyard Picnic. A self-described romantic poet decided to host an evening picnic in a cemetery because love transcends life and death. His girlfriend, assuming it was a quirky idea, agreed, until she realized he'd set everything up directly beside an actual gravestone. He even brought wine, candles, and a Bluetooth speaker playing Every Breath You Take. Halfway through the date, the groundskeeper called the police, mistaking them for grave robbers. As the flashing lights approached, she grabbed her purse and whispered, "You're dead to me," before walking off. He later claimed it was misunderstood art. The only thing misunderstood was his sense of boundaries. Romantic rule number 1: if your Valentine's date requires cemetery permission, you've gone too far. 27. The inflatable surprise girlfriend. For the grand finale, a man in Florida who forgot to buy a gift decided to stage a fake romantic dinner. He filled the table with candles, a heart-shaped cake, and, unfortunately, a life-sized inflatable doll dressed in his girlfriend's clothes. When she walked in, he proudly shouted, "See? I even missed you while you were gone." She didn't speak. The doll didn't either. The silence was deafening. He later told friends he thought it was a funny icebreaker. She told her lawyer it was grounds for evacuation. The photo made it to Facebook, where even his mother commented, "Sweetheart, I raised you better." If love is blind, this was legally classified as visually traumatic. And there you have it. 27 romantic disasters proving that love might be blind but stupidity? Oh, it's got 20/20 vision and a gift receipt. So tell me, which of these deserves a Worst Valentine Ever trophy? Drop your pick in the comments. And maybe double-check your gift before February 14th.